A philosophy professor stood before his class with some items on the table in front of him. When the class began, wordlessly, he picked up a very large and empty mayonnaise jar and proceeded to fill it with rocks, about 2 inches in diameter. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was. So the professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly. The pebbles, of course, rolled into the open areas between the rocks. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They agreed it was. The professor picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up the remaining open areas of the jar. He then asked once more if the jar was full. The students responded with a unanimous yes. But the professor went out and came back with another jar full of water and poured into the jar with rock, pebbles, and sand. The water took that space that could not be taken by sand to the fullest. Again, he asked if the jar was full. Almost the whole class were dazzled and speechless, unknown what the professor is going to do next. Only few replied with a low voice. Yes, the professor said, the jar represents your life and the rocks, pebbles, and sand are the things that fill up your life. The rocks represent God. You must put God first in your life so that it can be meaningful. The pebbles represent some other important projects and things you have going on, such as spending time with your family and maintaining proper health. This means that if the sand and water were lost, the jar would still be full and your life would still have meaning. The sand represents the things in your life that matter, but that you could live without. The sand are certainly things that give your life meaning, such as your job, house, hobbies, and friendships. But they are not critical for you to have a meaningful life. These things often come and go and are not permanent or essential to your overall well-being. Finally, the water represents the remaining filler things in your life and material possessions. This could be small things such as watching television, browsing through your favorite social media site, or running errands. These things don't mean much to your life as a whole and are likely only done to waste time or get small tasks accomplished. The metaphor here is that if you start with putting sand into the jar, you will not have room for rocks or pebbles. This holds true with the things you let into your life. If you spend all of your time on the small and insignificant things, you will run out of room for the things that are actually important. You must learn how to put in first things first. In order to have a more effective and efficient life, pay attention to the rocks, because they are critical to your long-term well-being. Put in the comment below what other lesson you got in this story. If you like this story, like it and don't forget to share it with someone you love. Finally, I would like to invite you to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you may not miss other stories from Great Ideas. Great Ideas. We talk about ideas.